Shoot. I should have done this first. I can't see. Okay. What are we talking about? Pixel 2. I'm not in reverse. Pixel 2. Can't see anything. Alright, I can see a little. Oh. Do you ever, worry when you're leaving your house that, there's a small child, an innocent child, curled up, right underneath your wheel? So the first second you move, they're dead. And then you go to jail, and that's it. Because it's you can see out in the road, but you can't see right there, and you don't always check. It's scary. I usually check, actually, just out of fear. So, Pixel 2. Pretty cool. That's my comprehensive review. So, there were some interesting things about the Google announcement, the keynote, whatever. I don't know what these things are called. The live stream, because that's how I saw it. Every time they talked about anything, because when Apple talks about a device, and I don't think that this is necessarily wrong, but they say this device is good because this, and here's how we integrate our experience to make it good. And I think that's totally fine. I'm not saying that the Google thing is better, but it was so different because they were their stance was, our AI is good, and here's how the phone supports that. Good phone, but our AI, that's the thing. So, I mean, everything they talked about was like that. Their laptop, it had good specs, Pixelbook laptop, whatever, but they were look, if you hit the Windows key, it launches Google Assistant. Which sounds like the most frustrating thing in the world to me. I was okay when they did away with the caps lock, but isn't that what they did? Am I misremembering? I don't know. Who uses Chromebooks anymore? I was thinking about that. Because a Chromebook, if it runs all Android stuff, a Chromebook is pretty cool. But then my friend of mine was like, well, I don't know, you can't really program on it because they locked down the Linux. And I don't know if that's true. He didn't know if that was true either. That's just what he had heard. But if they do, that's a shame. If it is Linux, and you can get to the Linux somehow, and not that convoluted of a way, then that would be pretty good. I would consider it. I'm actually going to look into that, because I'm tired of Windows. Anyway, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about the Pixel 2. So, good things about it. I was worried that they were going to be late to the game with the tall aspect ratio phone, but they weren't. They had it. Their screen is not quite edge to edge as anyone else's, right? They had a little bit of side bezels, which don't bother me. They don't bother me. So the only reason that getting rid of side bezels is good is you can make the device smaller and screen bigger. But it doesn't matter. They put a 6-inch screen on a 3-inch wide device, and that's how wide my S6 is right now with a case. So I guess it would be a little bit wider for a Pixel 2 XL. I don't think I would want the regular one. I don't know. The benefit of having these super big screens is the device can be the same size. The regular Pixel might be really narrow. It might not be. I think it was 2.7 inches. I don't remember that one. I was looking up the XL. Oh shoot, I didn't put on defrost. I've just been wiping it over and over. Which you're supposed to wipe for a while, and then defrost takes over. But I didn't start that process. I need to start bringing a towel out to my car. Because it's not doing it fast enough. I guess I don't have heated side view mirrors. It's annoying. Anyway. So, I don't know how I feel about the Pixel. Right? Because me as a person, I had, what even was that phone? Is it HTC? A MyTouch 4G from T-Mobile. That was my first smartphone. Who made that? I think it was HTC. I think so. Anyway, garbage, right? I'm not going to say that's HTC's fault, but I determined at the time, so it might have just been the smartphone sucked then, and that was just how it was. But I determined at the time that the problem was stuff that HTC added. And so I wanted the all Google experience. That's why my next phone was the Nexus 4, right? Because I determined at the time that, and I don't think I was wrong on this, but all these TouchWiz and HTC Sense or whatever, Sense UI, the UIs that the phone manufacturers were adding were like, wait, like they were taking up my RAM, they were taking up my speed, and I didn't like that. And I think I was right. I mean, that's my general approach to computing always, is like, don't you dare take my RAM permanently. That's why Vista was such a nightmare. They were like, we're taking your RAM for video. That's how we'll do it. Horrible. Anyway. Don't take my RAM. But then, so that's how I was for a while. And after the Nexus 4, I got an iPhone 6. Just to keep up with the iPhone. I don't know if I'll ever get another iPhone, but I was like, you know what? They deliver a great experience. But that was coming off the Nexus 4, which was old at the time. Right? Nexus 4, I went to the iPhone 6. The Nexus 6P probably would have been out. Maybe the Nexus 5, but at least more than the 4, right? I was behind. I had stuck with that 4 for a long time. So I got an iPhone. And then after that, when I went back to Android, I got cheap Androids from China. But they didn't really weigh down the Android experience with UIs and stuff. If they ever added anything, it was like useful. Like they included a file manager. Which, how does Google not have a file manager built in? I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense. I don't care if it's built into Drive. Just let me navigate by folders when I turn on the phone without installing another app. Ridiculous. Anyway. I know that you can pretty much get anywhere when you click like a share button on an app. There is a built-in file manager, sort of. But you can't like manage your files. You can only get to the downloads folder. Absurd. So I got these cheap Chinese phones, and they were cool. But then after that, I got an S6. Because I had been avoiding Samsung for the same reasons as everyone else. And another reason I avoided Samsung was they cost too much. Right? To me, it was like, I'm going to get the HTC or whatever, or the Samsung. I think Samsung's TouchWiz. I don't remember the names of all their stupid themes. But I'm going to get the same thing. Like, it's going to be weighed down. It's going to be annoying. It's going to be in my way. But I'm going to pay Apple prices for it. I'm still going to pay $700 for a phone. Ridiculous. But I got one, I got an old S6 very recently. So, the S8 is out. I'm way behind. So that was the only reason I did it, was I got it pretty cheap. But it's good. It's fine. Like, the UI stuff isn't in the way anymore in the way that it used to be. Or I just don't notice it. Or it's there, and the phones are good enough to handle it now. The graphics on them can handle it. Or there's enough RAM. There's still not enough RAM. I need more RAM. 3 gigs? Come on. Give me some more RAM. Anyway. There's almost nothing that Samsung has added that bothers me. Or, if it bothers me, I've been giving it a chance to see if I'm okay with it. So, for example, game mode I was annoyed. I'm like, why is this red button on my screen? And then I was like, oh, but we can block your back and recent buttons. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But I still don't like this red button. And like, you can make the red button disappear by moving it to the top. Which I don't know why I can't just click it and click hide. That's stupid. But moving it to the top is fine. I get a perfectly clear game screen. I get no interruptions. It's great. Right? Great tool. 10 out of 10. What else does Samsung have? They have a scroll capture built in by default. That's cool. I used to have an app that did that, but the app was like a separate browser. So if I wanted to scroll capture a web page, I had to Alt-Tab out of it into this other app while copying the link and then do scroll capture. Having it built in is great. Even though it pops up every dang time I take a screenshot when half the time I don't want to scroll capture. It's not that much of an inconvenience, okay? So overall, good. So there's not a lot with this Samsung that bothers me. Now, if I had an S8 and it had that stupid unremappable Bixby button, which now you can block it at least by default. I don't know if you can remap it when you're watching this, but at the time when I made this, no, you cannot remap it. But that's that. What was I saying? I don't know if Samsung has progressed and now they're annoying again. But the one that I have right now with Android 7, I can't get 8 on the S6, is fine. And it feels really premium. The screen is nice, which is something I didn't notice. Because from getting these Chinese devices, I'm like, oh, I'll get a Chinese phone, and the screen is like, good resolution, whatever. The color's a little different. I won't say it's off. It's like, it'll be cooler or warmer. Every screen is different. When I compare it to the S6, I don't like the Chinese phone, but, which the S6 is probably also a Chinese phone, right? Made in China. Samsung's a Japanese company, but whatever. You get what I'm saying. Like, when I call it a Chinese phone, that's not much of a distinction, but you should just get with my lexicon. I can't get over it. And I can't see this freaking side view mirror is still fully wet. And I can't roll down my window because my window is broken. Otherwise, I would just wipe it off with a napkin. On purpose. Just put my signal on. Force my way. Let me in. Jerks. Okay. So that's like my general feeling. If I had gotten an S8 today, it would annoy me to have that button that's useless. And I don't care for a lot of the features, like the side swiping thing, the edge, whatever. It's dumb. But there's always going to be features on a phone that are dumb. And that brings me to the Google Pixel. Is a clean Google experience still good? Now, I'm not even talking about, like, do I want the features in the Samsung? So I probably don't care, right? Scroll capture is nice. But I'm sure there's an app that does that now that I can just download. So, do I want the features in the Pixel? Because when they did their presentation, it was like, our AI is good, here's the phone. Which is cool. Like, I'm all on board for AI, right? The camera stuff in portrait mode is cool. The image stabilization, cool. But here's my question. Do I want Google Assistant, which I never use, integrated into every gosh darn app and every thing in the home screen? I never even use the Google app because I'm afraid of ads. They scare me. I don't think there are many ads in the Google app, so I should just use it. But I don't know. Can you set a default browser from the Google app? Because I don't use Chrome, I use Firefox. Anyway, point being that. Have you guys heard of this thing, by the way, where you can pay some money per month, and then participating websites, you won't see the ads, but they'll get money? That sounds really rad. I think you have to opt in instead of it just being all Google sites, which sucks. If it just integrated with Google Ads, I would be like, okay, I'll do that. But it doesn't. Anyway. So it's like, I don't know. Pixel, screen, good. They got with the tall screen. Camera, the best apparently. I don't know if it's actually the best, but it's well reviewed. People like it. Camera is one of the most important things to me now in a phone. I didn't get any information on the camera specifically, other than it was good. But I mostly use the forward-facing camera, like right now. So, of course, they never highlight those specs, other than that you can use portrait mode in it. But I care about the video. But it does seem like they focused a lot of effort into making the camera great. Fingerprint sensor, correct spot. No wireless charging, which I don't care about. It's not important to me. It's weird that they omitted it, because previous Google phones have had it, and now that Apple has it, it's a check mark that you gotta have, right? So I think it's strange that they left it out. They removed the 3.5 millimeter jack, but since I've started using Bluetooth on my car, it would still be a problem at work when I listen to podcasts all day, and I charge my phone at the same time. So I don't know. If someone comes out with a case for the Pixel, or any phone that doesn't have a headphone jack, and it has 2 USB-C slots on it, one for your headphones and one for power, they'll be a genius, okay? I need that. Give it to me. Like a battery case. Because I need a battery case anyway. They put a ridiculously low battery in this. The XL has a 3500, which isn't too bad, but the regular one has a 2500. How do people still think that that's enough? It's not enough. It's not enough for anything. I have an S6 with a small screen, and it's not OLED, so maybe OLED uses less power, but it's always on, so it's got to use more power overall. Anyway, I have an S6. It doesn't last like half the day. If I didn't have it plugged in at my desk, if I didn't have a battery case that I could turn on, I would be mad all the time. It's ridiculous. Although, you're supposed to be able to get 7 hours of charge from 15 minutes of charge with this phone, with the Pixel. That's pretty rad. If that works, maybe I wouldn't need a battery case. I doubt it. Because you still got to stop listening to music for 15 minutes. You got to, like, plan your day around charging, which is annoying. I don't like that. So I'll probably still get a battery case. But I'd only have to leave the battery case on for 15 minutes. If it charged, if it was fast enough. Probably not fast enough, battery to battery. You probably need a wall thing. Anyway. I don't know. I was worried that Google wasn't going to get on board with the aspect ratio, what they did with the XL at least. So that's great. If if I'm being honest, if I got an S8, I probably would get the small one. Because it's fine. I don't remember how big it is. It's pretty big. The screen. Is it 5.8? I don't remember. I'm going to look that up before I make my decision. But I probably wouldn't get the big one, the XL. The whatever. S8 Plus. I don't know. Because I would love the smaller footprint, but with a large screen. I would never get the Pixel regular. Pixel 2 regular. It's too small. But the XL, 6-inch screen, pretty good. Pretty good. Front-facing speakers, right? They've got stereo front-facing speakers on the Pixel 2. That's awesome. That is like the holy grail for phone specs. Everybody wants front-facing speakers because you don't want to cup it with your hand and have it whatever. Everybody wants that. No phone manufacturer will do it because it ruins the aesthetic of the front of their phone, even though it doesn't. Especially now with the you gotta have a tiny bezel on the top and bottom. So why not fill them both up with speakers? Genius. So that's great. And that's important to me too, because I do, when I'm going to sleep, I listen a lot on my phone, right? I pop my phone up on the pop socket, set it on the floor beside my bed, and let it go. Now, front-facing speakers aren't necessary for that, because it's propped up on a pop socket. Oh, I could just lay it flat. If it had front-facing speakers, I could just lay it flat. It wouldn't even matter. The part of the reason the pop socket is audio, because a lot of things fire out the back, so I wanted to be prepared for that. Or fire at the bottom and they get a little muffled when they're laying flat, especially on carpet. I don't know. That's cool. But the Google Assistant, I just don't know. The squeeze thing, I'd have to disable that immediately. I already see that happening by accident a million times. Every time. It would be an accident because I don't use the Google Assistant. If I did want to use the Google Assistant, there's another way to do it. Also, the always listening thing, I'm not super privacy conscious. Okay, so the Pixel 2, if you don't know, has a thing where it's always listening anyway for your Hey Pixel or Hey Google, whatever it is that you say. It has that. But since it's always listening, it added a feature. It's if a song is playing, it will just tell you what it is in a notification. You don't have to ask for it. It's just there it is. So that later, either then or later, you can go check and be like, oh, this is that song that I cared about, right? That's pretty cool. But I don't know. Is a battery conscious, memory conscious person like me really okay with always on microphone? I'm sure you can still disable it on the Pixel. There's no way that that's forced. I doubt it. I highly doubt that it can be forced like that. But would I want that? I don't think so. Now, that's not a reason not to buy the device, because like I said, you could probably turn it off. Almost certainly. But all the features that Google focused on were real usability features, which is awesome. Because, sometimes people, Apple will come out with a feature and it'll be like, I don't use that. Who would use that? That's stupid. It's dumb. Not just Apple, anyone. But Apple's, they're the biggest. But everything Google brought up, they were like, look, we only have one camera, but it can do the bokeh thing, right? And that's because of our AI and, some math with the way the pixels are taken, the image pixels. And everybody who tried it out said it was great. I don't know if you need an internet connection for that. But that would still be fine, because it could take the original picture. And then if you need an internet connection and you don't have one, you can add the blur later. Right, this is not a big deal. Although I don't think that you do need it. A lot of the AI they were talking about was like, this is on the device. This isn't in the internet. Some of it is, some of it isn't. Like, they released that camera that would have all the AI on the device. They basically released like a GoPro, but you're supposed to just leave in your house all the time so that it catches pictures of your kids and your dog. I wonder if you can use it as a security camera. I mean, they already have the Nest camera. Maybe it's part of the Nest camera. I can see them applying that technology to both. So I don't know. Overall, Pixel's like good. There's no feature that's like, oh man, I need that and my phone doesn't have it. Like, it has a better camera. It has probably the best camera that's going to be released this year. So, you know, that's pretty important to me. That would be a reason to get it. I would only get the XL, and the XL costs too much, so I don't know if I would get it anyway. Would I pay an extra $200? It feels like a sunk cost thing. Like, once I'm spending $650, might as well spend an extra $200. Get the thing you really want. But I could get a Samsung for way less. And it's still going to have good on all those checkboxes. And it's going to have the Google Assistant. So, man, that translation thing, though, that was so dope. The instant translation. I 100% doubt that you need the Google earbud, AirPlay, headphone, the Pixel Buds is what they're called. I was giving them a long name to make fun of them. I highly doubt that you need those to use the translation feature, because I know that translation feature already exists. You can just plug in, not some 3.5 millimeter, but some USB-C headphones. How much are those Pixel Buds? Maybe they're cheap. I'm gonna say if they're $80, then that's good. I would conceivably pay that. I don't remember how much they were. If they're $160 like the AirBuds, no, absolutely not. There's no chance I'm ever going to pay that much for headphones. 80? Maybe. That's half. That's half the Apple one. If they're 100, I don't think so either. I think 80's the max. Ideally, they would be 60. Anyway, I don't really want those, because I don't want to charge my headphones. I know I'm going to change my mind about that someday. The way that I've changed my mind about Bluetooth in my car. It's bound to happen, but I don't want to live that life. Battery is a main concern for me, okay? So, I really don't want... I don't want it. I don't want to live a life tethered to my battery. Because right now mine lasts more than all day with the battery backup case. And that's perfect. Even though sometimes I have to flip the switch. Anywho. The translation thing was so cool. That's like, yes, you're actually innovating in a way that I care. You know? I'll never use that. Ever. I don't know. I don't work at a phone store anymore. I used my Spanish when I worked at a phone store. And when I worked at GameStop for 3 days. I gotta park to get out of this person's way. Park fast. Okay. But it was cool. Okay, I'm at work. Bye.